Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session. We have a very special session today as to how to prepare your body for pregnancy. If you're thinking of having a child, how do you prepare your body? That is the question, which did not exist actually 20 years back. Nobody used to understand, oh, why do you have to prepare my body? So that's the topic we're going to be discussing with one of the very distinguished, one of the best physicians, Ayurvedic physicians from US, Dr. Ashleisha Roth. She is a third generation Ayurvedic physician, and she has been practicing Ayurveda for over 20 years in US. In addition to being an MD in Ayurveda, she is also a holistic health practitioner, nutritional consultant, pranic healer, and board certified in integrative medicine. I am super excited to introduce all of you to Dr. Ashleisha Roth, who is joining me live right now. Welcome, Dr. Roth.
Thank you, and namaste all. I should say good morning, good afternoon, good evening maybe, because I know Nourish Talk family is, across the globe. So though you are presently there in, Bay Area, and I'm in Central Zone, right, Chicago area. Well, I know the audience is all across. So again, namaste everyone, and thank you so much, Amita, for introducing your kind introduction. I would also like to thank the whole Nourish Talk team for inviting me to speak on this very, very dear subject for me, suprajanana. I have been working on this suprajanana topic and subject almost more than 20 years now. And it is very close to my heart. So I guess let's get started and let's understand first what is suprajanana. So I know this is a Sanskrit word, and sometimes people even get confused, even, pronouncing it. But to be very frank with you, this is the name itself suggests that what is suprajanana. It's a very simple Sanskrit word, which is made up of two words. So the very first word is su, and the next one is prajanana. So what is the meaning of su? Su means something super, something excellent, which has a tremendous potential, excellent, highest potential of creating something, and that is su. You might have heard the word su swagatam, su prabhat. So that comes like a su in Sanskrit, means excellent or the something super. And then comes the word prajanana. Prajanana. It's again another very simple word showing everything about the producing something, production. So something which is going to be produced should be excellent. And in that sense, prajanana also referred to your progeny. Obviously, what do you produce? It's like production, not as something outside, but the actual creation of the same human being, how you are being human. And that's how the prajanana is being explained. And all together, when we combine these two words and say suprajanana, which actually means a process, the whole scientific process, ancient process of Ayurveda, which focuses on actually laying the foundation for building a very healthy and radiant progeny. And when we say radiant and healthy, obviously it takes a very deeper aspect of the whole genetic makeup. So you want a whole understanding of suprajanana is again as something which we are creating or developing to that extent, which will be just super, which will be just excellent, which will be just radiant. So let's take a deeper view now, that, and the very first thing comes that what's the need? Everybody have kids and things, definitely, baby is anyway going to grow. Why do we really need suprajanana? So there are many reasons why we need suprajanana, but I'm going to focus on only three, and those three are really major. And if you really would feel that and you would really understand that, you would also agree with me that yes, this is a need. This is absolutely is a need that we should all think about suprajanana. When I'm saying suprajanana, thinking all, it's not that you may say, oh, I have already kids, I'm done with, now pregnancies, now I don't want this. It's not really like that. It is also for you are still in people around those who may get pregnant, and you can still play some role in explaining them that they should do this. So let's understand again, what is the need of suprajanana? So the very first thing I would say that, when baby is born, people are like, oh, it becomes an angel today. The baby is angel for them, because everything, whatever they are ready to do anything, because now the baby is there. I have seen even some parents, they quit smoking because now baby is born. But do you really think that baby is actually born in your womb way 9 months before, right? Why don't you think about that? And in fact, just tell me, when we just go and do some big shopping, people do this, new iPads and new iPhones are coming, and we do so much of research. Or think about even we do kind of like go and get the big LCD TV, and people do so much research. They go to Best Buy or Walmart or somewhere everywhere and just wait to see which one is good and why to choose that. Do you even think that something which is going to be so ancient to you, do you just take it as a chance, or you plan for that, right? So something which is so near to you, not just an instrument, it is something very live, which is again, you're so much dear. Why don't you really work hard to give that best to him or her who is coming to in your life and making your life so beautiful? So it is possible by suprajanam that if you really work on, then it is possible that you can create, you can develop a radiant progeny, radiant child. The another aspect is really, really important, which I'm going to talk is, I'm sure you have heard, and we all have heard so many such really not good incidences where you have seen the school shootings or kind of a violence, I would say, right? And we all are in that era that we really look forward for that world peace. How's that world peace is going to come? And if you think, what these babies or those who are so young generation, those who are going to come, they are actually our future citizens, isn't it? So if you want these future citizens to be having that peace, and again the world peace, it is really possible to create that you start working when they are in womb, and give them that peace, that their heart will be always filled with peace, and that's how the world peace will come. I know it sounds little too much when I'm talking, but if you go into detail, and which you are going to go, because I'm going to, walk you through all the processes of suprajanana, and then you would definitely believe that yes, if we want tomorrow world peace to come, then yes, today we have to sow something, and that's why suprajanana. And then the not last, not last but not least, and again it is not last, there are many reasons why we should do suprajanana, and that is actually something which is extremely important nowadays. We are still in pandemic, though we have now vaccinations and people are getting vaccinated, we still are in pandemic, and it will still take some time. Hopefully everything goes well and we will get over from this. But that definitely reminds me that how much important for us to have the immunity. And believe me, absolutely, you want the baby which is going to born, he or she should have that strong immunity. It is a scientific studies have always been shown that the innate immunity is much higher than the induced immunity. The meaning of innate immunity is like the baby when is born, which has its own immunity, is definitely much higher than when you do the vaccination and you apply the applied immunity, which we call in the scientific language. That is much, compared to that, innate immunity is always higher. So acquired immunity also plays a role, but you want someone who is born with that innate immunity, isn't it? And to make that immunity stronger, suprajanam would always help. And these are the three very basic and very important. And again, as I said, there are many other reasons, but let's go and now take a look at what is suprajanana. So suprajan, for the shortcut, I would say suprajan. So suprajan has, again, a way wide range of treatment. It's not one phasic, it's a multi-phased treatment protocol. And it actually starts even before conception. So right from the conception, preconception, I'm saying preconception, till the child development, everything is possible. And this period, or all these different phases, are absolutely important in suprajan. How they are important, and just for the understanding purposes, I have divided them into the three phases, so we could go and understand at every level of the phase how it is important. So the very number one phase is actually the preconception to conception. And we really have to work during that period of time, which will give us the foundation will be laid there. Believe me, the foundation will be laid there. And then the second phase comes as the pregnancy to childbirth. Many times people are aware at this phase and they think, oh, I'm now pregnant, I should not do this, that. Well, that is true, but actually you have to start right before. But anyway, even if you are pregnant now, that is also important. And so the pregnancy to childbirth. And don't forget about the third phase, which would be the child development, which is actually from the childbirth till the child development. So you could see here, it is a very comprehensive multi-phased treatment protocol, and the whole scientific process, which would ultimately create the radiant progeny. Also, another very important thing I would like to talk before I really, touch the topic and start giving and explaining about these phases. There are, again, not these phases are many, there are key protocols are also many. So I would like to show you, what you see on the screen. There are 4 petals on this flower. And these actually 4 petals represent some type of 4 key protocols in Subrajana. And let's take a look. And this is Ayurveda. Again, Ayurveda has this tremendous, overview of the whole protocol. So let's take a look here. That the very first is diet, or we call it in a Sanskrit ahara. So the ahara is applied. Then the another petal is vihara, which means the lifestyle, what you have to do, what you are not supposed to do, all those comes under the lifestyle. Then comes the vichara, which means the thinking process, the thought process of mom absolutely affect the fetus. This has been again known since ages. And the behavior, not just the thinking process, but how you behave during that period of time. And please remember, it's not only for the pregnancy, that starts from the preconceptional age. So right from the preconception, then the conception happens, then the pregnancy happens, and then the childbirth happens. All these 4 protocols are applied at each level, each phase, and to each person, whoever is involved. For example, from preconception to conception, both the parents are involved there, to be parents are involved there. And then during the pregnancy also they are involved, and after pregnancy also, after childbirth, you have to think about the mom as well as baby there. So at each phase, these 4 level protocols are followed to create the complete scientific process. So let's go now phase by phase and understand how the phase will work. So here is the very first phase, and how I'm going to explain you is I'm going to describe you what Ayurveda has said, and I'm sure everybody are aware of Ayurveda, which is a science, ancient medical science 5,000 years ago at least. So Ayurveda prescribes something, but we are in a modern age. We are in the 21st century, third decade of 21st century has been already started. So how would we apply that? we'll discuss about that also. So that will be your key takeaways. And so what Ayurveda says that then this is again, this phase is for the couple, the to be parents, right? And so they would Ayurveda has mentioned that it's extremely important to do the really removing all the toxins. You know, when you are sowing the seed, you want to make sure that whatever is being, the land is important, not just the seed. Of course the seed is also important, so the cleansing of land is important, then cleansing of seeds are important, as well as whatever you're providing, the water or the nourishing something, whatever you're giving to that seed, that is also important, and then the seed is going to grow. And that's the reason why Ayurveda recommends that both the parents should undergo the panchakarma, which is a pinnacle of the Ayurvedic treatment again, for the eliminating all the toxins from your body. And again, at the diet level, we should think, at the lifestyle level, we should think, the behavioral level, we should think, and the thought process level also, we should develop a very positive frame of mind. But then how would you do that, right? So this is something I would recommend, that the things to be done during this phase. So if you are planning, ideally when a couple comes, what I would do here is, we do definitely the dosha analysis for the each person. Dosha is the type of bioenergies, what that is what is believed in Ayurveda, that bioenergies would which has the more potential to create the whole physiology, your whole physiology around your uh, bioenergy. So whatever the state of your bioenergy is, that's how your whole physiology will act. And once the physiology is strong, obviously pregnancy is a natural process. It is so easy to become even pregnant when you are completely in a balanced state. So obviously those, for each parent we have to do the dosha analysis, and then certain diet recommendation, or whatever imbalance is there, then certain lifestyle changes based on your doshas, these diet and lifestyle changes would be recommended. And then typically both the parents undergo the panchakarma therapy and prepare themselves. Now here the bodily preparation is one aspect, and the gametes preparation is another aspect. Gametes are the your cells, sexual cells, which are needed, or you could say the egg and the sperm. So sperm in the male, and then the eggs into the female body. And to rejuvenate them, or having the best sperm quality and having the best egg quality, that is how gets preparation happens during this phase. And also we have to understand that there are certain very good amount of medicinal herbs which Ayurveda has recommended. A lot of research have been again done on those, and they really, it is considered according to Ayurveda that they purify the female egg as well as the male sperms. So this type of things, while we are doing, it's not only about the giving herbs and just giving the diet. Actually it is also about introducing to those parents the meditation and pranayama. And why those are introduced? Because remember, even if you want to do something for tomorrow, you have to start practicing today. So during the whole period of pregnancy, we highly recommend, Suprajanam highly recommends to have that meditative and the pranayam activities. And that's why those are also typically should be get done during when you are in your first phase. Then we go to the second phase. Now, typically, pregnancy phase is being talked a lot. People are very well aware that you have to take all your vitamins, you have to eat good and all. Well, that is absolutely true. But what Ayurveda really recommends the dietary regime is much beyond the conventional pregnancy diet. I'm not saying that don't follow the pregnancy conventional diet. Absolutely, that is needed. You have to have certain things in your diet. But here, the Acharya Charaka, which he talks in the Charaka Samhita, the whole concept is very different. So you follow that, but in addition to that, if I tell you something good is there, you would definitely be happy to do that, right? And that's why a pregnant lady should have that in addition to your general conventional pregnancy diet. And here the concept is very important, because completely the concept is as food as a medicine. So this concept is throughoutly followed in the whole pregnancy, and this pregnancy is not only for the female but more focused on the managing the fetal growth. You would be, I don't know whether you are aware of this fact, but unfortunately even today we have the low birth rate kids, they get born. There are LBW, that means low birth weight, is a really serious issue even in United States. Don't think that it is only in the developing countries. Even we face this problem here in US. And that's why the managing fetal growth becomes a really important issue. And that is being taken care by Ayurveda by providing the herbal supplements for the fetal progress, always also the oil massage. One another aspect of oil massage is also for the stretch marks. Pregnancy would have the stretch marks, and uh, that that's the how you can have not have the stretch marks by doing just the oil massage. But it is also for the fetal growth. And also again, the yoga, pranayama, meditation have been recommended. Ayurveda recommends that one should do these things. Now how would we apply this, right? So let me give you, again, this is a very vast topic, but I'm trying to give you the more focused point. So as I said, the specific supplementary regime, dietary regime is provided. So it goes from the every month. So every month, based on how the fetal growth is and what is Ayurveda understands, Ayurvedic way I'm talking here, there are certain things recommended, and these are dietary things such as simple as ghee. So ghee in combination with something, or ghee or the milk is combination with something, or sometime, as example which I have written here, in during the third month, you ghee and honey in unequal quantity are in proportion, they are given, and that you are supposed to be eating. So each month, when the pregnant lady comes into the whatever month she is, every month, I would recommend her, okay, do this, and that's how the application of the knowledge can be done. There are some regenerative herbs also given. Remember, these herbs are never given in the form of as a medicine. These are more in a dietary form. For example, and again, as I said, I mean, before I go to the example, I would like to say this also, that the focus is always a fetus. Focus is the growing baby inside your womb. And as I was talking, that the Ayurveda will always be take the most safest approach. For example, here is the thing. Ayurveda believes that mind and the brain gets developed into the fifth and sixth month. And that's the reason it is recommended that the female who is in the pregnant, her in fifth, second phase of pregnancy, which is a second trimester of pregnancy, where maybe in the fifth or the sixth month, she should be given with the Brahmi ghee. So ghee, everybody is well aware of ghee. So here it is a medicated ghee is being given. So see, the medicine is not given directly as a tablet of Brahmi, but here it is given in the form of a form of a diet. So the medicated ghee is being recommended here. So those will take care of again fetal growth. Now this is not it. Like, you just don't give everything for eating. There are certain other lifestyle changes are also recommended. And what could that be? They are actually being focused for creating the brain activity. They are focused for developing fetus's emotions. We know that emotional quotient is more important than just intelligent quotient, right? IQ is not that important, but the EQ is more important. And that's the reason Ayurveda recommends to develop both of these things during the fetal stage, when it is in the womb. And how it has been done, one aspect, and there are many aspects, but I would just give you a very excellent one aspect, and that is by doing the musical therapy. Ayurveda recommends different ragas. Ragas are actually classical notes, Indian classical music, which also known as Gandharva Veda. It is a, a sister science of Ayurveda. And this Gandharva Veda has different musical notes, and these different musical notes are known as ragas. And these ragas are specifically mentioned for certain very important aspect of your body, your mood, your mental activity, your brainy activity, your focus, your concentration. So there are different kinds of ragas, and these different kinds of ragas are used for different variety of things. And that's how Gandharva Ayurveda says, and Ayurveda applies those Gandharva Ayurveda things here. And for the fetal growth, certain musical notes are being given. And you are supposed to listen to those notes and then develop the fetus. Isn't it beautiful thing that you're really not eating anything and just listening to something and it is being developed? There is a lot research have been done, and I will share if we get a time. Uh, then then comes the baby phase, when the baby is actually born, and this is also very important. Uh, Again, we are in the third third decade of the 21st century, and we have almost great things, so the delivery will becomes very smooth. But still, to prepare for that delivery, certain things are recommended, and one of such thing is basti karma, which is a smooth, just to have the smooth and vaginal delivery. And Ayurveda recommends certain mantras, and there are very specific postpartum regimes are being given. After, as soon as baby is born, there are many rituals are recommended. These rituals are known as bala sanskaras. They are transformative processes, and some certain layams are given, which is a jam like structure. You might have heard about the chawanprash. Well, chawanprash is not given at this time, but I'm just giving you an example. There are many such layams are given for developing the ojas. Ojas is something, again, Ayurveda explains as for the immunity. And how would we apply? Again, it is for mom as well as for that infant. So for mom, certain guidelines, dietary guidelines are given, where you can actually bring the uterus back to normal stage, and also at the same time develop a abundant breast milk, so the feeding will become very easy for the infant. And at the infant level also, we would have the different methods of how the whole room can be kept disinfectant, and not by using any chemical things, but much more natural and very these immunity boosting herbs can be used there. There is another concept of suvarna prashan, which is actually using a gourd and creating some amount of simple water by using that gourd, and that can even increase the immunity. So always, if you would see that the immunity develop, or the ojas, what is we call it in Ayurveda, has always a focus of not just the fetal development, but also the infant development. So this kind of gives you an overview of the whole suprajanana. And if you are really thinking of getting pregnant, then here are my tips for you. And I would say that, again, start beforehand. And very first thing what you want to do is think about your mind. Try to really balance the mind. And how would you do that? The very simple thing I would suggest is start doing the pranayam. Pranayam is breath work, and the alternate nostril breathing is the best way to bring that balance into the mind. And if not, then at least start doing meditation. That will really help. The another step I would suggest is to watch your emotions. Be more aware of your emotions. I always see many times when I ask, when somebody comes to me and I'm doing the Ayurveda consultation, and I just simply ask one simple question, what makes you happy? And people start thinking, they just don't know. And so they are not even aware of their emotions. So just become aware of your emotions, and that awareness always automatically increase your attention. And that attention is very, very important. Once you become much more attentive, it is possible that you would be more attentive when you are pregnant. And then the third thing, again, for preparing your body, I would suggest start putting little 2 drops of ghee. Again, this ghee should be very good ghee made from the A2 milk and grass-fed milk, and just put two drops in your nose and apply the same way to your feet. Do the feet massage. The feet, the sole of the feet actually has so many things that they have. You might have heard about the reflexology. It is now getting popular with the reflexology, but we believe there are certain murmur points which actually are connected to whole body. And that way, by just massaging your feet, you're getting prepared for your good health. And obviously, start focusing, keep your attention on what you ingest is not just by mouth, but your eyes, your all the sensory organs. And so be very careful, because what you are going to ingest, that is only you are going to produce. And we want to produce a very brilliant, healthy and radiant child. So obviously the input which you will do should be really always excellent, right? So with this, thank you so much. uh, Always very happy to be here, and I think I will thank you again for your patient listening. I guess I'm in time, and I will open the session for question answers.
I think it was absolutely beautiful, Dr. Rod. If someone has a question, live question, you are welcome to ask. I'm manning the Zoom, but all right, we do have a question. That's great. Okay, so someone has a question. So in the West, they like to know the minimum amount of preparation time. What would you say that minimum length of time is, and what would be the ideal number of years or month? So I'm assuming that you're talking about the preparation time of before the pregnancy, right? Do you want to clarify that? Someone who's asked, yes. Okay, so that's the question, is that, before you're thinking of having a baby, how much time do you think couples in this case should prepare?
So ideally we recommend 3 months.
Okay. 3 months to detox your body, detox your mind with
Months
all
are
kinds of.
sufficient that you develop.
Okay.
Months here,
Okay.
right from your uh, just before the, like, if you are planning, okay, conception has to happen in the month of uh, March, then right from January start doing this, or March or April you're looking for, then you should get more aware of everything. And really, typically we recommend that 1 month you should go do the abstinence also, and then go for the actual uh, start with the conception. That will also help.
Okay. Any follow-up to your question in that? All right. So I wanted to, so I think, this Ayurveda is such a beautiful way to do it, to making a baby. And to your point, you were talking about the TV and all the other things. And when we buy and we, when as a humanity or as a community, when people are thinking of planning a baby, they don't think of cleansing themselves. So that's very beautifully done. So you talked about panchkarma before the conception, cleansing. So my question was from our viewers, during the pregnancy, do you recommend any of the panchkarma therapies like nasya or basti or anything during the pregnancy?
So actually speaking, during the pregnancy, we do not do any panchakarma treatment. Only exception is just that you can do the basti, and that too in third trimester, and that too at the end. So end in the sense when now you are already completed your 8th, 9th month, and you're getting ready. 36 weeks are being done, and now you're getting ready to deliver a baby. That time, matra basti has been recommended. Matra basti is a very small oil enema, and exactly on the day of your delivery, there the enema can be given or the basti can be given. But again, throughout the pregnancy, the classical panchakarma is not recommended anytime. Now, this
Even the
is I'm
nasya.
talking about the Panchakarma. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Sorry.
Even the nasya is a separate therapy that you talked
See, when we
about.
say Nasya, Nasya are of two types. Nasyas are always considered of two types. One is a Panchakarma Nasya, which is completely prohibited. You should not be do. Well, Nasya is also been done in the daily routine aspect. That is just the 2 drops one could put, or just
Okay.
apply a little bit of naze, creating a moisturizing effect. So if you're doing as a daily routine thing, that type of nasya is okay, but the panchakarma nasya is not really recommended during. Now, let me tell you one more thing, and this is really important because during my residency, I was, in the gynec residency, we had this whole thing. We used to have a different type of nasya provided, and that was for actually giving the good progeny for having the male baby or the or female infant wanting to have. Then the different kind of nasyas are recommended there, but those are not panchakarma nasyas. They are still different nasyas. So those
Correct.
are for to be done during the first trimester, just absolutely during the 6 weeks of the pregnancy. And we have done that again.
Sure,
We
sure, sure.
do
And
that.
any other question on the follow-up on the question that you asked from, as far as the length of the preparation time, you're welcome to put it in the chat window. One more interesting comment that you made was on the ragas, the music therapy. So I was just, it's interesting. So from a Western clientele point of view, like, if I'm in, or for anyone who's not from an Indian origin, I think it will be interesting to have Beethoven or some of the classical Western music. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have actually recommended sometime because people would not really are familiar with this. And I used to initial days when I'm talking about 20 years ago, I used to recommend those also because the idea here is that there should be something string instrument that is also being mentioned. It's not that any musical, it's not vocal, it is more of the instrumental music has been recommended, and that
I
too
see.
a string instrument is recommended. And why that is because that creates the kind of a vibration which plays around with the fetal sound. So that
I
I
see.
remember I told you the research I would like to talk about here is uh, there is one institute called Manashakti in near Maharashtra. It is in Maharashtra. And Dr. Kerkar has done a lot. I mean, the founder is Swami uh, Vijnanananda is his name, and he has almost worked on this all the musical thing and how fetus responds to it. And they have this whole 30 years of research done and develop a certain series also they have done. But my point is that seriously, that aspect is when doing. I had some opportunity to meet with them and see their whole program, what they had done, and actually it has been shown that certain music you play and how the fetus responds to that.
Oh, wow. That's
This
amazing.
this understanding was way there, 5,000 years ago. We just have to apply that now. So yes, the way you're welcome to listen to those musics, but here again, these ragas are being against us, been played for how many, it's completely Gandharva Veda. It's a huge science, 5,000 years old, again, a science. And I'm sure you are aware of that, right? Like how these ragas change even your moods.
Of course, of course. So we have another follow-up question. So she or he, whoever, is asking if a woman or man has had excessive sexual activity over many years, leading to a planned conception. Does Ayurveda believe that it could lead to fetal development issues or genetic defects? That's the question. And then what are some of the things that these individuals can do or consume to regain the energies lost due to excessive sexual activity?
So actually, there are so many things that. So there are two questions, and let me answer the first question. Uh, Ayurveda recommends really to rejuvenate your whole rejuvenative system, whole reproductive system. So the reproductive cells are being rejuvenated by these herbs, which I was talking about. And it's not only one or two herbs. It again depends upon what type of prakriti. Prakriti means body constitution you have, and what kind of body constitution your partner has. Depending upon that, a very unique protocol can be developed for you to, overcome whatever you have done earlier. And that is the reason why, again, we say, before you go to the for the conception, at least take maybe a 1 month or 3 weeks complete abstinence, and that helps further. So not necessary that before you had done something that will have the bad effect on fetus. Absolutely not, because you can, not necessarily that you immediately do this. You can undergo these treatments, do the cleansing effect, and have these certain medications. And again, these are herbs, so very safe. No, I don't think any, not yet reported. I've been practicing more than 20 years, not have seen a single a problem with having these herbs. And the another thing is how you could further excessive, if you have done excessive act, then there is always a replenishment. You can replenish it by having a dietary approach, different dietary approach, by having a different lifestyle approach, and by having a different herbal approach. So that is also possible.
Okay, well, thank you. Hope that answered your question. Any other feedback from you? You're welcome to put it in the chat window. Before we wrap up, any last comments from you, Dr. Roth?
So I would suggest, as I was telling you in the beginning also, it's something people should take very seriously, being pregnant. It's not, it's not for only for them, but as a community, we want to create the next generation really healthy and radiant. And so it's each one of us responsibility to be more aware of this fact. And maybe, some of the listeners are already done with the pregnancies and all, but they can still recommend somebody else and make them aware. That's what, and there are things available. So always think about it. Yeah.
No, I think an amazing session, and that's the comment I'm getting from that was helpful. Thank you, Dr. Roth and Amita. Well, thank you. You're welcome. I think it was an amazing session, an amazing concept, which as a society, we are really not aware of that, and this needs to come out and be taught, and awareness has to happen to more young people who are thinking of starting with the family, like you said. And so I want to thank you so much, and amazing that Ayurveda was so intelligent, 5,000 years back. That is what I find so fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So with that, I'd like to thank you so much, Dr. Roth, for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And to all our viewers, please help us spread the message. We do an educational session every single day. So help us share these ideas, share the holistic way of living, and don't forget to follow us and give us the feedback on a daily basis. With that, I'd like to thank you everyone for watching, or maybe watching later. Signing off now. This is Amita from Nourishta. Thank you so much, and namaste.
Thank you.